How good is Disintegrate, and is it worth using outside of niche situations? There's actually two spells, Disintegrate Weapon and Disintegrate Armor. Both have the same spell cost. The weapon needs to be drawn in order for you to damage it, and the armor needs to be equipped. In terms of cost, it's a bit more expensive than fire or frost damage, and a bit less expensive than shock damage. 100 points of fire damage on touch costs 50 magicka. 100 points of shock damage on touch costs 70 magicka. Disintegrate is in between. 100 points of Disintegrate armor or weapon costs 60 magicka. How it works is it directly damages weapon or armor condition. Let's say you have an enemy NPC with a weapon that has 800 out of 800 condition. Like the Iron War Axe carried by Snowy Granius on the bridge to Arkantant. You may have encountered this NPC before. If you cast 100 Disintegrate weapon on him, the weapon's condition will turn into 700 out of 800. I think you can already see the problem at hand. The spell is comparable in cost with spells that damage enemy health directly, but the average weapon condition that you'd need to destroy with them is significantly higher than enemy HP. Example: Snowy Granius' axe has 800 maximum condition, while his total health is only 54. Which of these is more worth targeting? Armor condition is usually lower. For example, the Dwemer cuirass has a durability of 600, while a Dwemer helm has a durability of 200. But you must keep in mind that a Disintegrate armor spell will only damage one piece at a time, not every piece at once. Casting Disintegrate armor 100 points on an enemy will damage a single piece of enemy armor by 100, but other armor pieces will remain undamaged. So Disintegrate is best used on weapons and armor with low maximum condition. We're talking things like low-level armors or iron daggers or chitin clubs. But even then it'll generally be more cost-effective to just use destruction spells that directly target enemy health. To be fair, even if you don't destroy enemy weapons or armor outright, you are weakening your enemy, because lower condition means lower weapon damage and lower armor rating. It may be useful to use Disintegrate on glass weapons in particular, because they have surprisingly low durability for their damage and rarity. For example, the glass dagger has less durability than any other dagger, even the chitin one. It's similar for other weapon types. But there are better ways to debuff your enemy. For example, you could use damage strength on an enemy to reduce their damage. Damage attribute is technically more expensive. However, an enemy is rarely going to have more than 100 strength, but even the shittiest dagger has more condition than that. Another option would be to damage their agility or use Sanctuary on yourself. All of these options will reduce enemy combat effectiveness and do it much faster and cheaper than damaging their weapon. To be blunt, if you can survive long enough to damage enemy weapons, significantly enough for that to matter, you might as well use that time to kill them. I'd argue that Disintegrate is not worth using in most situations. The ideal situation for its use would be when you want to take a weapon or armor piece that an NPC is carrying, but you don't want to actually kill them. It is for that reason that this spell is very valuable to those who want to take Divai Fierce Daedric armor. I tried speeding up the process by using Weakness to Magicka alongside the spell, but unfortunately Disintegrate doesn't seem to be affected by it. From what I've seen, from looking at Disintegrate in Oblivion, it's a bit better in that game. Mostly because the maximum durability of weapons is lower. A generic Daedric Claymore has 728 health. This means that if you cast Disintegrate weapon 100 points 8 times, the Daedric Claymore should break. Compare this with Morrowind's Daedric Claymore, which has 5600 total health. you would need to cast Disintegrate with the same magnitude 56 times in order to break the weapon. That's assuming in both cases that there is no resist magicka or something like that involved, if Disintegrate in Morrowind is even affected by the resist magicka. And also, you must know that in Morrowind magicka doesn't regenerate, which also makes it a bit worse. Armor is a bit different. Disintegrate armor can break the lower level, especially light armor pieces, very quickly, but stuff like glass or ebony may still take a while. A difference from Morrowind is that an NPC won't actually unequip armor once it is damaged enough to break, but a weapon will end up on the ground, similar to if they had died. Disintegrate is a bit cheaper than frost damage in Oblivion. At 100 destruction, 100 points of frost damage on touch costs 53 magicka, while 100 points of Disintegrate costs 45 magicka. Also, I saw on the wiki that there is no use adding extra duration to your custom Disintegrate spells in Oblivion, because the game just ignores the duration when calculating damage. So only the first second matters. In Morrowind, the duration seems to be taken into account. I've tested that and it worked. You can't break equipment in Skyrim, so obviously there's no Disintegrate in that game. Now, you may be wondering why I haven't done the destruction ranking video yet. After my experience with Illusion, where I realized that I disagreed with my own ranking almost as soon as I posted it, I decided that I'm going to cover each individual spell first and only then do the actual ranking video. This should let me know more about how good each spell actually is, and if I miss anything obvious, one of you guys may let me know. Speaking of letting me know, please watch this video about Feather and tell me if it's any good. I am also giving you exclusive permission to share this video with everyone you know. Limited time only. After 3 days, you are no longer allowed to do that. Thanks for watching.